Now on Nightside, earlier this week, a Dallas man passed away from Ebola. Now we are learning a Dallas healthcare worker has tested positive for the Ebola virus.
Also, the U.S. launches more strikes against ISIS this weekend. We'll tell you how the White House is handling the increased criticism it faces and how the enemy doesn't show any sign of backing down.
Plus, scores of people chased from their homes by a wildfire in Northern California returned on Saturday. We hear from those who survived the blaze. Nightside starts now.
Live from KYMA Studios, this is News 11 Nightside, your #1 source for news in the desert Southwest.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Experts are telling us it was inevitable, and yet overnight we received news that a Dallas healthcare worker has tested positive for Ebola.
The Center for Disease Control reports that the victim was a member of the medical team that treated the Ebola patient Thomas Duncan, who died last week from the disease. NBC's Mark Potter reports. The White House is facing increasing criticism and pressure to show progress against an enemy that shows no sign of backing down. Brian Moore has the story from Washington. Right now, all eyes are on the Syrian border town of Kobani, where ISIS has been gaining ground despite the U.S. and allied air attacks.
An international donors conference with a goal of raising billions of dollars to help Gaza rebuild following the devastating 50-day Israeli-Hamas war over the summer opened in Cairo today.
Well, police and protesters clash outside a convenience store in St. Louis. About 200 demonstrators who were protesting the death of Bondurant Myers, who is an 18-year-old male who was shot and killed Wednesday. They marched to a Quick Trip gas station, staging a sit-in. Police warned them several times to leave, but the protesters held their ground. Officers arrested at least 10 people and used pepper spray or tear gas on some of the demonstrators. Myers, who was 18 and shot and killed by an off-duty officer working a security job. Police say that Myers shot first, but his parents say that he was unarmed. Well, Heather, what do we have to look forward to this week? Any more beautiful weather?
Well, we definitely have beautiful weather, and especially now that fall is here, that weather is going to stay beautiful for a very long time, Molly. If we check out right now what we have going on our live sky cam. Thank you, Yuma Rehabilitation Hospital, for the beautiful live shot. It's a nice day out here in Yuma. Right now, our current temperatures are in El Centro 78 degrees, Blythe 82 degrees, and the lows. But we'll have more for you in our full weather forecast.
Yeah, just in time for Halloween and picking out pumpkins and all of that.
That's right, that's right. Well, you know what, coming up next on Nightside, we have, tell us what we got going on there.
Oh, yeah, yesterday at Yuma Palms Mall, the local law enforcement were there, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about what happened.
#1 source for news in the desert Southwest.
Yesterday at Yuma Palms Mall, local law enforcement and public safety invited the community to come out and get to know them a little better. Arizona Gain event is a great way for the public to come out and meet their local public safety and law enforcement officers.
It gives you a little bit of an idea of what really goes on and what different parts of the departments.
Several law enforcement offices, including the fire department, sheriff's department, border patrol, search and rescue, and the military, were in attendance.
It's a good, positive environment, and I think it's important for us to be seen this way. And some little kid will remember this, you know.
The community can try on the gear, climb on the vehicles, and even put on the goggles that simulate being intoxicated.
Everybody coming from everywhere, and I think the reason they're all here is so they can interact with their own community, because we live here, and this is important to us as well.
News 11 joined in on the fun and even tried on the special enforcement gear.
It's definitely really heavy. Not only did I put it on, but we also have our News 11's Molly Lang, who also was able to try on some gear. Molly, tell me how it feels in there right now.
Well, Heather, I am hot. This is heavy. It really is no joke. They are protected and weighted down, and they actually have to run and crawl through the houses with all this gear. It's such a great opportunity to come out, try on all the gear, get on the vehicles, kind of see what your local law enforcement deals with on an everyday basis, and makes you a little bit more grateful for, the protection that they're doing for us every day.
That's very true. How long did it take you to get in that suit?
Well, with the help of the local law enforcement, they just kind of slipped it in on me, but it is heavy, and I don't think I could wear this every day, especially here in Yuma.
Perfect. Is there anything else you'd like to add for folks that aren't here or missing out right now?
Well, not only is it law enforcement, but military, tribal, and other safety like the fire department and ambulances and all the cool robots and toys that the kids can play with, and it really is something that you got to check out, and it's every year as well.
Well, it seemed like you definitely had fun out there. We both definitely had fun out there, and the community came out. It was a great event, right, Molly?
Oh, such a great event. I definitely will be back next year, maybe a little bit more prepared so I can actually climb into the vehicles. I'll wear pants next time.
Something to look forward to. Thanks, Molly. Well, you know what? Midterm elections are just 23 days away, but President Obama has been largely out of sight on the campaign trail this season.
However, this week, he returns to the fray. NBC's Kristen Welker reports. Coming up later in sports, the Arizona Wildcats look to keep their record hosting their Pac-12 rivals from USC. We have the highlights into the game and more later in sports. Well, it's another gorgeous night here in Yuma, and hopefully that continues into the week. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it sure will continue throughout the week, and it's going to continue for quite some time, for a couple months, too. Actually, the rest of the fall season, Molly. If we take a look at right now what we got going on. Thank you, Yuma Rehabilitation in the Imperial Valley at nighttime. So they're in the mid-60s, Molly, and I'm sure that happened like in an instant. It was like overnight. It was in the 60s. At first, they're in mid-70s, 80s, and now we're all the way down to the 60s.
You wish for cooler weather, then all of a sudden, here it is.
Here it is. You know, you be careful what you wish for, Molly.
News 11, where news comes first. We pride ourselves with those words. From the moment you wake up until you go to bed at night, News 11 is your source for the #1 rated newscasts in the Desert Southwest.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, it looks like the sun is really excited about Halloween, and now it's just a few days ago it transformed into a jack-o'-lantern just in time for the holidays, of course. So how is this possible?
Well, scientists at NASA combined images taken on October 8th of the sun's active regions. Then they filtered the images using 2 sets of light wavelengths, which resulted in the Halloween-like appearance. Eerily enough, the sun looked like a jack-o'-lantern the same way the blood moon haunts the sky.
That is pretty wild. Look at that. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially, it's perfect time for Halloween. Halloween's just right around the corner, and then this happens. It'd be so awesome to see it if it were live.
I know.
Shooting up in the sky, Molly.
I know, the things that NASA gets to see.
Unreal. Well, hey, thanks for joining us tonight, and join us tomorrow morning for sunrise.